Welcome to another family meeting. I'm Thomas, and this is my amazing wife, Lysandra. We're so glad to be back with all of you. It's an exciting episode.
It is. Welcome to episode 301 of the Family Meeting Podcast. I cannot believe that we are at 301.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Last episode was a very monumentous one, episode 300, where we had all of the girls on, and we had a very real life family meeting.
I think it was maybe my favorite episode that we've done. So.
Oh, okay. Even compared to the other, like episode 100, episode 200, where we had everybody on?
Yeah, this one just felt like a lot of fun. Like, it was a lot of fun sharing memories and everything else. Yeah. It was emotional ups and downs. We had somebody cry during the episode. So you get an idea of what our family's really like, all the personalities.
It was a real family meeting, for sure. Yeah. So on today's episode, though, we're going to discuss what we wish we knew about sex before we got married. So, of course, this is an episode where you don't want to listen to this in front of the kids, don't want to watch this in front of the kids. Definitely for adult ears and eyes only. So there's your fair warning.
Unless you're ready to have a sex ed conversation with your kids.
And maybe you are. Maybe you want us to teach your kids about sex.
I don't know how smart that would be.
That's probably a bad idea, but that's between you and your family.
People don't want me teaching their kids about anything.
Not usually.
We have some friends of ours, Dusty and Ashley, and they told their son Grayson, unless Thomas is behind the pulpit, don't believe anything he says.
And it's wise advice.
Yeah.
Very good advice. Okay, so these are honest things that we have learned to have a healthier marriage, and we want to share them with you. Maybe you're engaged, maybe you're newly married, or maybe like us, you've been married for decades. Whatever it is, this is a way. We're hoping that this episode will really help you to have a stronger understanding of God's design for sex in marriage.
So you mentioned being engaged, because we do premarital coaching, and we've got 6 sessions that we do for couples who are getting ready to get married. One of those sessions is on sex. So this topic, we talk about some of these things. It's a little more personal, but a really good time.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you have all kinds of couples, that come in, but sometimes you can tell they're just so nervous.
Yeah.
And I identify with that because I would have been mortified.
Well, when we started the podcast 6 years ago, you could not even say the word sex on the podcast.
Yeah, I would call it intimacy.
And I'm just like, just say sex. It's literally me and you in a room, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else is here right now.
So then I would be like, okay, SEX.
And she'd spell it out. And I'm just like, this is great. Well, then what's funny is she would put it in our notes for me to say intimacy. And I'm like, I'm not saying that, unless I'm talking about emotional intimacy. If we're talking about sex, I'm not saying physical intimacy. It's just sex. We can just call it what it is. But
I had to get used to it, okay? Sorry.
Yeah, that's what she said on our wedding night. Boom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. But before we get into the topic for today, we're looking forward to the National Small Groups Conference that's going to be taking place in the Atlanta, Georgia area. That's August 6th and 7th with Adam Ehrlichman and Bill Groups. It's going to be held at Dogwood Church. That is in Tyrone, Georgia, but you can get registered today. Lysandra, I forgot to look up the website before we got started here. You want to let them know what we're going to be talking about, and I'll look up the website for those who want to register for it.
Sure. So at the Small Groups Conference, we are going to be talking about investing in your own marriage in the midst of ministry, because a lot of these small group leaders, we put so much into ministry, and then what ends up getting kind of the leftovers is oftentimes our marriages. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're also going to have a session where we talk about investing in marriages in your small groups. So how can marriages in your church and in your small group become even stronger based on what you do in your own small groups? And this is really important because, as we know, marriages are under attack these days, and we our goal at Family Meeting is to strengthen marriages. And so this is just one more way that we can do that, by encouraging small group leaders to strengthen the marriages in their small group communities.
So you go to buildgroups.net and you'll be able to register there for National Small Groups Conference. It's going to be in Atlanta. They've got a few different ones that are going to be taking place different areas of the country. So if you say, you know what, I can't really make it to Atlanta because I'm way out west somewhere, they'll have one just for you. But that's buildgroups.net. Get registered today. Hey, take your whole small groups team. It'd be a great time of connection, encouragement, equipment. So I think it's going to be a good time. We're looking forward to seeing you there. We had a great time last year, made some great contacts, made some good friends, and we were encouraged ourselves. So make sure that you are taking your time to be there with us in Atlanta.
All right. What do you wish someone had told you about sex before you got married?
Okay, so I'm not sure about it's hard to say exactly what, being told, because for those of you who listen to the podcast, we're pretty open with everything that we talk about. If this is your first episode and you're just catching us, or you were like, hey, I saw 300, and you're like coming back the next week to see what this is really all about, just a little warning, we're pretty open. So Lysandra and I were both virgins when we got married.
Okay.
And so we have our wedding. It's our wedding night. I don't really care about the wedding day. I'm looking forward to the wedding night.
Okay, let me just say this. He did not even want me to have a receiving line, like where you hug all your guests and like say thank you for coming to the wedding. We didn't have a meal for our wedding because we had no money. We had cake and mints and nuts and stuff like that and punch. Just like looking back, I'm like, oh my. But anyway, so that's what we did.
It was almost 23 years ago, for one thing.
Things were a little different.
And we were very poor.
Yeah, and the people that we knew were pretty poor too, so everybody was cool with it.
No one was expecting dinner.
No. And anyway, so he didn't even want to cut the cake and do the cake and the normal stuff, the traditional stuff that you would do at a wedding reception. He didn't want to do any of that. He just wanted to get to the hotel, and I was like, "No, I have to say thank you to the people for coming. I'm hugging every person in this room."
Yeah.
So
and we did.
We did. And then as soon as he could get all the other stuff done, he was like, let's go.
Well, and because of our very strict Baptist background, we couldn't have a dance.
Right.
So things like that. But I was ready to let's go back to the hotel room. I'm ready to have sex, right? This is what we've been waiting for. At least I've been waiting for. And so the moment happens, and then, we're both virgins, and so popping her cherry.
Oh my. You just said that.
Yeah, that's the least graphic way I could describe it.
I don't know. There's got to be a better way.
Well, and there is, Kevin.
Okay. All right. Just
But what I'm saying is when in that moment when it happened, we both stopped, and we were just we looked at each other was that it?
You asked me, was that it? And I was I don't know. I think so.
She's like, it hurts like crazy. But that.
We knew nothing. I didn't even know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I didn't know that was going to happen either. So
we were both homeschooled, but
I homeschooled in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. But I never had a sex ed class or even my biology. I remember learning about animals in the reproductive system. And I think I learned about the reproductive system, the egg and the sperm and all of that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything came out.
What was going to happen. Yeah.
I knew nothing. It was all a shock to me. And I was just what just happened? And we do it right.
Exactly.
Something went terribly wrong.
Yeah.
So that's the background of us.
But then for me, it felt really good. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely right.
Yeah. So what do you wish, though, that you had known about sex before we got married?
Just what was going to happen there.
Okay. So to know that was normal and that was what was supposed to happen.
How would you answer that? What's the main thing you would say?
I just wish I would have known all of it. I wish somebody would have sat me down and been this is what happens. And then a lot of times this can happen. And if this happens, that's normal. And if you have trouble with this, then try this.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't want to be super graphic right now.
Well, one of the things that we've talked about is the fact that for the first 3 times, you just basically felt pain.
Yeah,
not
pain,
not
no
pleasure
enjoyment.
at all.
Right.
So what were your thoughts the 3rd time, and it's just painful for you and not really any enjoyment?
My thought was actually, I thought this. I said to myself, this is why women don't like sex. because it hurts and it's not fun.
I mean, that would make sense to me.
Right. But I was happy that you were having a good time, so it was fine. But it was like, okay, this is a sacrifice I will make for the rest of my life for my husband, and I will do this thing.
I just can't even imagine like that going through my mind.
Yeah, that was what I thought.
Like knowing for the rest of my life, this is basically what it's going to be.
But I will say this, you did misspeak. It was 2 times were painful. I think that was the third
Twice.
time.
Okay.
The third time was good.
I knew there was something about the third time.
The third time I was like, oh.
Third time's a charm. That's where that comes from, I guess.
No, 3 strikes, you're out.
Oh, okay.
No, but truly, the third time I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I get it. Sex is good.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you wish that you had known before you got married, but we would love to hear it in the comments. Tell us what you wish that you would have known about sex before you got married. But we will say this, that many couples enter marriage with unrealistic expectations. I know I did, no doubt. Many of us enter with unanswered questions and assumptions, and all of these things lead to frustration and disappointment and confusion. And the reality is that healthy sexual intimacy is something that most couples learn and build over time.
Well, and we have a lot of couples too who are coming into marriage with past sexual history.
Right.
And so you talked about expectations. Some of that is, you're bringing some of that, whether it was somebody you were married to or just a hookup or just a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever else. Then you come into your marriage, hey, I wish I had known certain things about what married life was going to be like.
Absolutely. And like you think about it. So we have been married for 23 years in August. So we're like
another month away or so.
About a month away from our anniversary of 23 years. And over those 23 years, we have learned and built on each sexual experience where we're like, okay, we learned that, we built on that. Now we know this, and it's gotten better. And that is one thing that people misunderstand, is that sex gets worse and more boring the longer you're married. We totally disagree. It has only gotten better for us because we've learned each other. We've learned ourselves. We have figured out how to do this and do it well. But not only that, it's like we have built on this, but if we can share something with you that will help you to build on it and to learn quicker, we want to share that with you.
Yes, totally.
That would be our goal, even if it means me being a little embarrassed and turning red in the face.
Yeah. So,
which I think has already happened, by the way, on this episode.
It's just your natural color.
I'm red?
Yeah. You just have this beautiful glow to you.
Yes, like a red alarm bell.
Or is it the heat from the lights that is getting to you?
I don't know.
Or are you just getting hot?
No, I am not getting hot right now.
All right. So as we get into the conversation today, we want to share 5 common myths that couples believe about sex before marriage.
Mm-hmm. So. And we do have a whole episode on sex myths, which is a hilarious episode.
Yeah.
Because it talks about like really specific myths that are out there that are like really funny.
Some of them are absolute insane.
Yeah. And then some of them are kind of more like what we're going to share today. But
what number episode is that?
Oh, babe, I don't know.
I put you on the spot there.
I do not know. I didn't look it up, but it just came to me like, oh yeah, we did an
As the one who writes the content, I just feel like that would have been great information to have.
Are you disappointed in me?
No.
You need to lower your expectations.
Yeah. I have high expectations here.
That's your problem.
But we're going to look at these 5 myths here.
Okay.
So myth number 1 is if we truly love each other, sex will come naturally.
That would be nice.
Did you have that kind of thought process?
Oh, yeah. I thought that everything would be very natural. And like on the movies, I love rom-coms, always have, still did before we got married. On all the rom-coms, like when they officially like fall in love and then they're like so passionate and you can tell like they're going back to their room or whatever. And it looks so natural and so like passionate and exciting and everything. It's not always like that. It can be, but really that's probably rare.
I would think so. Yeah.
At least for us, that's been rare.
But here's the thing. Any couples that assume that strong love automatically leads to a satisfying sexual relationship are they're going to be a little bit shocked or disappointed.
Yeah, the key word is automatically.
Yeah.
Like strong love absolutely leads to a great sex life. And if you do have relationship issues, then you will have sexual issues. but it's not automatic.
Well, it definitely intensifies the desire for physical interaction. Like, it just makes sense. So you want to get close to each other, as close as possible, which we talked to couples about as well. It's like the closer you get to each other, the more that desire to be physically intimate. See, that's the right way to use that. Comes into play. And,
well done.
And so it is like a true thing that if you are really close with each other, there's going to be a naturally want to have sex with each other. But
yes,
that doesn't mean that it's just going to naturally flow into this like amazing thing that's going to happen. Emotional connection is important, but healthy intimacy also requires communication.
Yes.
Vulnerability. You remember like what that was like, getting undressed in front of each other for the first time. It's just like...
It's like a nightmare.
Yeah. It's like
you want to be like this?
She's like, turn the lights off. And I'm like, no, I want to see everything.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna need a very small candlelight in the corner. That's what we need.
But vulnerability, right? Yeah. Patience, definitely.
Oh yeah, you got to be patient with each other. Mm-hmm.
And just a willingness to learn about one another over time. It takes time to learn anything. It takes time to become an expert at anything.
It does.
And no matter what it is. We have people who come and talk to us about starting a podcast. We've been doing this. This is episode 301. We've been doing it for 6 years. And even with something like starting a podcast, I tell people, just understand at the beginning, you're going to suck at it. Like when people go back and listen, you can go back right now, push pause here, go listen to episode 1. And I'm always a little nervous when people are like, hey, I started listening to your podcast. I'm like, where did you start at? Because
don't start at the beginning.
Don't judge us by episode 1. When you start anything new, you're going to suck at it. And so you can't just think, well, because we're so in love, then sex is just automatically going to be this great, amazing, romantic thing. It's not.
Right. Because great sex is developed. It's not just discovered. You don't just trip into it.
Yeah.
It is developed.
You don't just trip into it.
I didn't mean that literally, but okay. But couples who communicate openly tend to experience greater satisfaction than those who try to just let things happen. We talk about things so often. In fact, on most of our marriage conferences, we talk about talking about sex. Like, we encourage couples, you need to talk about sex. And one of the things that we do is we talk about each sexual encounter right away at the end.
Yeah.
And almost like a debriefing. Oh,
yeah, nice.
I didn't do that on purpose.
I see what you did there.
But it's like a debriefing. You're like, okay, how did it go? What could we do better? You did a great job at this. And it's like some time for encouragement.
Just kind of reviewing it.
Yeah. And then every time we just get better, and we get better quicker because of that.
Yeah. Or if it's difficult for whatever reason, it's like, okay, what happened there? Like, what was the issue? What was the problem?
Yeah.
Whether it's like we didn't have enough time, or this distraction, that distraction, or whatever else.
And it's never like you're never the problem if something didn't go well. It is always me and my mind.
Not necessarily. It's not necessarily you and your mind. So if somebody interrupts us, I have a hard time. So we have 4 teenage daughters, for those of you who are new to the podcast and didn't pay attention to the art. 4 teenage daughters who like to be around us, who are very aware of what's happening. And then we just had a situation when I was back in Iowa last week or the week before. Lysander was up there for a total of 17 days.
Long time away from home.
And we didn't want to be apart that long. And so I flew up to Iowa and spent 3 days up there. And one morning, real early, we were having sex. And all of a sudden we hear a knock on the door. Right when I'm getting going. She's had her turn, she's good. And all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. And I'm just like, okay. It was her mom.
Who will never watch this episode, so we're totally safe.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom. For that.
Babe.
What? It's like she ruined the moment. Stop. That's what I'm saying. So Lysandra blocked her in. Well, I think technically
car.
I was driving, but I didn't know Mom was leaving that early in the morning. But yeah.
So
it was a little difficult. I had to like try to get back in the moment after that. So it's not always just you and what's going on up in your mind, but
that's true.
A lot of times it is.
I am usually the problem.
Yeah. So that's myth number 1. If we truly love each other, it will just come naturally. Kind of along that lines is myth number 2, and that is sex should always be spontaneous.
Yeah. Which sounds great.
Yeah, and of course you've got the movies and the TV shows where they're out to dinner and they got the chemistry and all these things, and then it just kind of like happens, and it's this spontaneous, like magical
explosion
thing.
Of passion. That's a word I think of, like explosion of passion, like they just can't contain themselves.
Yeah.
It's not always like that.
Which after, we've been married almost 23 years, like it's very rarely that.
Right. It's usually nowadays more planned.
Yeah. It's like, hey, all the kids are going to be out of the house for an hour. What are you doing?
Exactly. It's like, ooh, I'm doing you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that the spontaneous thing is great, but it doesn't always happen.
No, real life is way different than that. It's just like, you're not always going to be this like spontaneous thing. Yeah.
And the thing is that healthy couples have to create space for this. You have to talk about it. You have to plan for it. You have to make it an important enough priority that you do plan for it. And planning for connection does not make it less romantic. It makes it more likely to happen.
Yeah.
And it makes it makes it happen, right? But also what we always tell people is like, if you have to schedule it and it feels like this is such a bummer, it's not spontaneous anymore, then change the way you view it and look at it as something to anticipate, something to kind of get excited about between the two of you. And so all day long, you can be texting about it. You can have a phone call about it. You can send pictures leading up to it, like whatever you want to do. Just check the recipient, make sure that you're being careful. And, and just, just make it an anticipation thing.
Well, I remember we did a podcast episode on this. It's been a while now, and I wrote a blog about it. And I remember on social media, like, just like the conversation, and some people were just totally opposed to like scheduling it, and that it just ruined it. And I'm just like, if you don't schedule it at least some of the time, how long are you going before you have sex? Because like we don't have a lot of time in our schedule for just a spontaneous thing, and because of the way we live our lives.
We even go to bed together, because a lot of times it's like, well, people have trouble connecting because they don't go to bed together. We go to bed at the same time every night, mostly, and we go together. But like, you have to plan energy for it.
Oh yeah. Because usually by the time I get in bed at night, like I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I am exhausted. Sometimes it'll happen in that moment. Sometimes it is spontaneous in that moment. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times it's like, we'll put on our show, I will lay down, and I am gone within a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But I get up at like 4 a.m. every morning to go to the gym. So
and that's why. Mm-hmm.
It's like by the time the end of the day comes, if it's not something scheduled, it may not happen.
Yeah.
So that communication. But myth number 3, marriage will automatically fix sexual struggles.
No, it'll magnify them.
Yeah, it can create a lot more problems than, so whether it's like some people have this thought process, I'm addicted to porn, and if I just get married and I can have sex, that will take care of the porn problem. But it's like, that's the sex itself is not the issue, and the sex itself is not going to be the solution for that either. There's things going on in your heart and your mind that you have to deal with, depending on what the reason is that you're addicted to porn or you're having sexual issues or whatever else.
Right. And we do believe in God's design of sex after marriage and remaining virgins until marriage. But maybe that ship has sailed for you, and that's not something that you can do. And there are couples who are having sex before they get married, and then they think like, oh, after we get married, this will be, won't be a problem anymore or whatever. And usually it just makes any problem that you have before marriage is worse after marriage.
Yeah.
Because everybody's working a little less hard.
Yeah.
But I think of even like insecurities and body image issues.
Sure.
Like I had that before we got married, and it wasn't like, oh, because we got married and I have a husband who's interested in me, now all of those problems are gone. They're magnified, actually.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't respond exactly the way that I want him to, or think that I need him to feel good about myself, then it's so much worse.
So I want to ask you this, because you've had body issues for a long time, based upon some things that happened to you in the past. Go back and think about wedding night Lysandra. And
terrified.
No, but I'm saying that body there. How do you feel about that body?
Oh, I wish I had her body. Yes. Because now I've had 4 kids and a C-section.
So it's interesting to think about, though, right?
I try to think about that now.
Yeah.
Because like right now I'm frustrated that I have wrinkles. I'm 41. So like there are wrinkles that I didn't used to have, and like skin doesn't look the same. And I'm like, there's going to come a time when I'm 55 and I'm like, oh, I would give anything for the way I looked at 41. So I'm like, enjoy these moments. Enjoy this.
Yeah. As much as possible. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But we think about past relationship wounds as well. Or if you've suffered sexual abuse and things like that, like just because you got married doesn't mean that all of those things are going to be healed and it's just going to be fine. If you don't talk about it and you don't deal with it and find actual healing from it, you're just complicating your physical relationship with now your spouse.
Yes.
And is going to create more issues than it does.
Yeah.
So it's not just automatically going to fix everything.
Right. And I think that is something that we wish we would have known before we got married.
Totally.
Is how sexual abuse from both of our past would affect our sex life. But the truth is that marriage will usually magnify existing patterns. It's not going to eliminate those patterns. So the best thing to do is to get help, get counseling, work through it before you get married. Develop healthy communication skills too. So that like you're already used to communicating well and talking about hard conversations before you get married. And then when you do get married, it'll just keep going.
Well, and that's one of the reasons we started including sex in our premarital coaching, is that we wanted to make sure that this couple who's getting ready to get married has the conversations about sex that they need to have. That it's like, we wish we would have had more conversations about this, like had somebody sit down and actually talk us through some of this stuff. We
had premarital counseling through Thomas's church, premarital counseling through my church, and we did a book together on our own.
Yeah.
Do you remember a session on sex?
I really don't. I don't even
either.
remember the book talking about it that we went through.
Before I Say I Do.
Yes, Before We Say I Do.
Before We Say I Do was the name of the book.
It'd be interesting. I need to go back and, we have our actual workbooks and everything that we wrote in. I would have to go back and look through it to see if it mentioned anything. I don't remember anything.
Remember it either.
That's
crazy.
It's like so important. And we were dealing with so many problems that couples were having when it came to sex that it's like, you should have had these conversations before you got married, and they just never did.
Right.
But even when we go to conferences and stuff, it's like we're talking about sex, and in one of the things that we always do is we always have discussion questions that go along with whatever we're talking about, and we literally stop everything when we're done talking, and it's like, okay, turn to your spouse, and now you're going to talk about this and go through the discussion questions. And we have couples who are like, we've been married for 45 years and we've never talked about this. And we should have dealt with this 45 years ago.
Right.
And so you have to work through some of these things, because we just have this idea, and I don't know where we get it from, that once we get married, that's just going to fix things and that's going to solve everything.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Maybe it's just hopes.
Yeah.
You just hope it will.
Yeah. Myth number 4. I don't know how I got to be the one to start.
You get the myths,
okay,
and I get the truth.
Okay, perfect. All right. Because I was like, normally we like go back and forth, and you're like 1 and I'm 2 and whatever, and I'm like, okay. Myth number 4. I just want you to know I didn't set it up this way. So I'm not trying to like steal the spotlight or anything like that. I was like, this is kind of weird.
You are the spotlight.
Yeah, I don't
you
know
are
about
the
that.
Star of the show.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But myth number 4 is good sex means never having differences, which is, kind of an interesting one to think about. That, couples kind of have this idea that differing levels of desire or preferences indicate something is wrong with the relationship. Right. And the truth is, I don't know that Lysandra and I have ever been at a point in our relationship where our levels and desire and preferences and all that have been the same.
No, we're different all the time in every aspect of life, including sex.
So here's how it typically works in our relationship.
I'm like scared about what you're about to say.
No, this is, and we've talked about this, but Lysandra would like sex more often, and I want sex when we have it to last longer.
Okay.
So I don't want to. I want us to take our time with it. And she's like, I want to get it over now, and then
It's that Judge Judy
tomorrow we can do the same thing, but like get it over now. So she's literally like, this is the goal. This is what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to get my O, and then we're done here.
Nah.
I mean, you want me to have a turn also, but I'm saying
That sounded super selfish.
But I'm saying,
true.
I mean, sometimes you are, but am I lying?
Yes.
Okay, I am not lying.
You are lying.
No, sometimes you're pretty selfish.
I joke.
No, sometimes when it's supposed to be my turn, you jump in there.
Oh,
and grab
okay.
another
Yeah,
turn,
that's
like,
true. That's true.
So, but
This got way too real.
no, but what I'm trying to say is, and point out for people is like, your levels are not always going to be the same, if ever, and even your preferences for how you go about things, what you do, how many times, how long each session will last or whatever, it's rarely we're at the same. But some couples have this idea that we're gonna want it the same amount of time, and we're just gonna be on the same exact
and like
page
we're gonna want
all
it
the
to
time.
last the same amount of time.
Exactly.
And all of that.
Yep.
Yeah. But the truth is that differences are very normal and should be expected. You should expect there to be differences all along the way.
Which makes sense because Lysandra and I are different in almost every way.
Yeah, very different.
Every possible way, except for when it comes to like our faith. We're on the same page there. Certain things, major things, we're on the same. But as far as like our makeup, personality, everything, we are complete opposites.
Opposite extremes.
Yeah.
For sure. So obviously that's going to come into play in the bedroom as well. But if you are afraid of your differences, then that is going to be a hindrance to you. Rather embrace them, understand them, share them, make sure that people know, make sure your spouse knows, like, this is my energy level right now. This is my desire level. This is what I feel that I need. This is what I want, like whatever. But expressing all of those and hearing their differences and actually caring about what they feel and think matters. If you want to be healthy, then you have to learn how to discuss the differences that you have with respect, empathy, and teamwork. We're going to work together as a team to figure this out.
Yeah.
It feels like some sort of like math formula.
Sometimes it is.
It's like an equation sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, how can we get to the answer?
Yep. Sometimes it's like geometry.
Yeah.
Angles and whatever else.
It's definitely physics.
Yeah. But I like what Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians chapter number 7, when he's talking about, a sexual relationship between a husband and wife. It's like, my goal as a husband is to make sure that my wife's sexual needs are taken care of. Her goal is to make sure that mine are taken care of, and it's got it in that exact order for a reason. But it's too often we look at sex as something that's like super selfish, and I'm looking out for me, and that's it. When he says no, like, figure out, communicate, talk about what each of you need and what each of you expect from each other, and how can we work together to make our sexual relationship something that's amazing. Mm-hmm. So
For sure. All right, we have another myth.
Okay, number 5 here. Sex is only a physical act. How do you feel about that?
Disagree. Strongly disagree.
Culture often reduces sex to physical pleasure alone. And that's why we have a culture that is basically just like casual sex. Like,
oh yeah,
have sex with whoever you want,
hookups,
however you want, wherever you want, as long as you're not hurting someone. And they always like point to that. As long as you're not hurting someone, then what's wrong with it? It feels good and all those sorts of things. But here's the thing, like, sex has never been just a physical act. Mm-mm. It was not created or designed that way. Sex impacts every single part of us.
Yes.
Emotionally, relationally, spiritually.
Yes.
Like, all those things are involved along with the physical. And even the scripture talks about that. Like, in the fact that if you sin sexually, like that's something different because of the nature that sex is not just a physical act.
Exactly. And it even talks about like how you're sinning against your own self.
Yeah.
And that's like that idea of, oh, well, you're not hurting anybody. Like you don't even realize that you are hurting yourself when you live that way. Because the truth is that sexual intimacy becomes one of the ways to express trust. We express commitment, affection, emotional closeness, that spiritual commitment. Like before God, you are my only sexual partner.
Yeah.
And a healthy sexual relationship is about connection. It's not about just performing or, it's not just about getting to that goal.
What goal?
I don't want to.
What goal? What are you talking about?
Sexual satisfaction would be the goal. But that's not the only goal.
Yeah.
The goal is to serve one another, to express love to one another.
Yeah.
To connect and all of those things.
Well, I like Philippians chapter 2 and verse number 4 when it comes to this. It says, let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others.
Yeah.
And so it's a principle that applies beautifully to marriage and intimacy. Healthy sexual relationships flourish when both spouses are seeking to understand, honor, and care for one another instead of just looking out for my own physical needs and desires.
Yes, for sure. I love that. And I think so often we just like, we want the Bible to be like, well, this verse isn't talking about sex. This verse is, and we like want to like put everything compartmentalized. But the truth is the principles throughout the entire Word of God apply to every aspect of our lives. Loving one another, in honor, deferring to one another, serving one another, so on and so forth. Apply those principles, scriptural principles, to every aspect of our life, including the bedroom. Okay, now there are a lot of different things that I wish I knew before we got married, but one of the things that I really wish I knew before I got married was that I was coming into marriage with sexual expectations. If you would have told me that when I was 18 years old, which is when we got married, I would have argued with you. I would have been like, no, I'm not. But I totally was, and I didn't know that. And so
what, like, I know I had one expectation when it came to sex in our marriage relationship, and that was that we would have it.
Okay.
What were the sexual expectations that you had?
That you would want me sexually all the time.
Okay.
Like constantly. And like if I wanted it, then you were already waiting, panting, like the word I want to use is thirsty.
Oh boy.
I don't know how like politically correct that is.
Thirsty.
That is what I thought. I also thought that it would be easy, like it would just happen, and it would just be good all the time. I did think it would help with my physical insecurities. I thought that you would want sex more than me. Okay. Yeah. I think those are the main things that I can think of right now.
But you have, once again, talking about how we're different, like you have more expectations about everything than I do. Right. Yeah.
I think more about everything for one thing. Yeah. But,
what? You make it sound like this idiot over here that doesn't think about anything.
He's like, don't suck.
Exactly.
That isn't what I meant, but I'm just saying, like, I do overanalyze.
Like, I think about everything more than you do. You guys hear how that sounds, right?
That isn't what I meant. Babe, I just meant, like, I overanalyze everything.
This guy.
You know that's true.
He don't think about nothing.
My mind is like a nonstop chaotic mess.
that is, I understand what you're saying. It's true. It's just, Lysandra does this thing where she says stuff that is totally insulting to people without realizing it or meaning it. Like,
I never mean to be hurtful or insult anyone ever. He says I do it all the time. Yeah. But my mind is not thinking that way. Yeah. So I don't see it. But then when
So apparently not thinking about everything more than I do.
All right, can we just talk about expectations?
Yeah.
Right. Expectations.
I expect to have my feelings hurt.
Well, if you know it going in, you're good to go.
Mission accomplished.
But expectations can like bring a hindrance to your sex life because you have these expectations. So you enter marriage with assumptions, with thoughts of things that are going to happen. And these are formed by things like movies, social media, friends, maybe family experiences, or even personal fantasies come into play here.
Well, and like porn and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, if you have watched a lot of porn before you get married, I can't even imagine the expectations going into it.
The average age that someone sees it for the first time is like 9 years old now.
I think I saw it for the first time when I was like 7.
Yeah.
We found it at someone's house, and
I think you actually saw porn before I did.
probably I was really young, and we had no idea what it was. We put in a VHS videotape.
That's how old it was.
Yeah. And when we put it in, we were like, and then we did take it out, but we didn't take it out right away. We were curious.
Right. Yeah. Because
you're just
it's
like, what is
this?
I've never seen anything like this ever.
What is this? And why did they have this?
Yeah. And yet it still wasn't the kind of porn that would have taught me anything.
Yeah.
I still knew nothing after that.
But it's like you because of that, you bring those kind of expectations in too.
Or fears and terror.
Like, what is that? Do I have to do that? What?
But yeah, so what we come into then with is like some ideas of this is what sex should be.
It
should be like
I
this.
understand, yeah.
And the reality is that it may or may not be like that.
Yeah.
And so just having those expectations, though, can really hinder you. So that's one thing that I wish I would have known beforehand, is that I had sexual expectations, and that I need to try to lower them or realize what's reasonable and unreasonable. And most importantly, communicate those sexual expectations to my spouse.
Yeah.
That I didn't know before we got married, and I wish I had.
You expected me to like be a mind reader.
Mm-hmm. I wanted him to just know.
And it's like, there were times where she thought she was like coming on to me and like offering like sex to me, and it's like I had no idea that's what was happening.
Right. And then the next day,
her feelings are, she's like angry and upset, and her feelings
the next day I'm like, you rejected me yesterday, and he's like, I did what?
Like, what are you talking about?
It's like, I came on to you, I was trying to get sex.
Yeah.
It's like, when?
He's like, you don't remember when I looked at you? Like,
yeah.
Like, no, I just thought you had something in both your eyes at the same time. Like, why are you blinking like that?
Those were my bedroom eyes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So couples assume their spouse thinks the same way, which I don't know. We do this, but I don't know why we would do this, because we do understand as like husband and wife, male, female, just personality types and all that.
Right.
We're so different, but many newlyweds do discover that they have very different expectations about frequency, initiation, affection, romance, and all of that kind of stuff. But the reality is, love does not automatically create agreement. No. Healthy couples discuss expectations rather than assuming mutual understanding. We talk about this all the time. Don't just assume anything.
Right.
We all know what happens when you assume. It's never going to work out right.
It's never a good thing. Another thing is that performance can become more important than connection. So a lot of times you go into marriage and you're thinking like, okay, every sexual experience is going to be passionate and exciting and so deeply satisfying. It's going to be life-changing, earth-shattering, rocked my world.
Sometimes it is like that.
Sometimes it is like that.
Like, there's certain times that it's like I can still
remember.
Still remember. I still picture what was happening.
Yeah. Certain encounters.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of them should be enjoyable. Every single one should be enjoyable for both.
Well, except for maybe like the first couple times, but
right. But unless something like comes in the way, but gets in the way. Something gets
faster,
in the way.
Please.
Listen, these episodes are the hardest for me to talk about.
Oh boy, really?
Yes.
Why do you keep using these
most
words?
Difficult? They are the most difficult for me to talk about. I just want to get them over.
I mean, yeah, but you would think that's literally what she wants to do. You would think though that if you listen to the podcast, I would be the one who would be making like these type of jokes.
I've been married to you for 23 years.
And
your sense of
humor,
humor,
mostly you. So I just want to point that out.
But it all came
I'm
from
being
you.
the adult in the room.
Good job.
Which is weird.
It is weird. I didn't do that on purpose, though, that last one. I have done some on purpose, but... Yeah. So, long-term satisfaction, though, grows from connection and everything. So it's...
Okay.
It's not just going to happen. The connection has to be more important than just like the performance.
Yeah. And here's another truth that is important for us to understand, and that is desire naturally changes through different seasons.
I wish I would have known this before we got married.
And so many couples just expect their level of desire to remain consistent through marriage. It's like we get married here and we are together for 23 years now, married, and we just expect like the level of interest is going to be exactly the same the whole time, which is, it's so unreasonable. When you really stop and think about it, it's so unreasonable.
Yeah.
But there are so many factors involved here. I mean, you've got seasons of life. You've got like mental issues. So I've talked about my depression and how that affects my sex drive, and whether you're seasons where you're just busier, you're more tired, things are going on.
Pregnancy and hormones in pregnancy.
Yeah, amps it up.
Big time effects. Yeah.
Pretty much amps it up.
Yeah, it does.
But
It's like you have a stronger desire for sex, but you feel uglier than ever before. It's quite the combo.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I can only imagine. But there's stress, there's parenting, there's work, like work demands, health issues.
Yeah.
And we had an issue where Lysandra had like severe back pain for about 11 months. That was stemming from another medical issue she had, but that really affected our physical relationship together. Not just sexually, but overall.
Yeah, we were just disconnected. It was hard.
And so you've got just all these things that happen where, you know, your sex drive and your desire for each other in those moments is going to fluctuate. That's just a normal part of life.
Yeah, right. I also wish that I would have known before we got married that sex is not going to just like meet every emotional need all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we think that going in, like we unconsciously expect sex to provide validation or security or acceptance, stress relief.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can do these things, and like we want it to make us emotionally close right away.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
can't.
I mean, as far as the stress relief, most of the time I feel that way.
You feel relieved.
Yeah. But there are times where it creates more stress if I feel like you're expecting things to happen and I'm like too tired or whatever,
Yeah.
or I'm struggling with depression or whatever. So there's times where, you know, I'm kind of lower on the desire level, and because of just the season of life and whatever's happening, where I feel a lot more stress and pressure to perform in those moments.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's a great stress relief.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
How can we deal with this?
Yeah. And sex can strengthen connection, but it can't carry that all on its own.
No.
It can't carry the whole weight of the relationship.
Well, and it's not really intended to. It's not a fix-all. It's not a, you know, it's more of, it's not everything in a marriage or relationship. It can be like a barometer to let you know, like, hey, if your sex life is not good, there's an issue going on.
It's a symptom of something else.
It's like a symptom of either something's off in the relationship or physically something's, there's an issue that you need to figure out, or one of you needs to figure out.
It can be an indicator for sure.
So, but the same is true. Sometimes you have people who are having a great sex life. That doesn't necessarily mean they have a great relationship.
Right.
So
I don't know though. How many people have we come across that have great sex but don't have a good marriage?
I know a few, at least that we talk to.
Okay.
Where it's like they've got that figured out. They both love it. They both enjoy it, but their marriage or relationship itself is like not great.
Okay.
And so here, I'll tell you who it is on the air. No, just kidding.
I know you weren't going to do
Not
that.
going to do that. What about this one? Unspoken expectations become hidden resentments.
Yes, I definitely did that. I wish I would have known ahead of time in our marriage.
That would happen.
Yeah, to just talk about it.
Yeah.
Like to just be direct with you and be like, listen, I thought that it was going to be like this, and this is what I really hoped out of our sex life, and it's not happening, and so I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the emotional maturity to be able to do that.
But if you have those unmet expectations and you don't talk about them, that turns into resentment, which will then impact and affect our relationship.
I can testify to that.
it's like saying, or thinking like you should know what I need. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, no. Like, if you've not told me, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Or this, if you love me, you'd want sex more.
Yeah, I never thought that one because I never have ever questioned your love because you love me too much. You almost broke my back the other day hugging me because you love me so much.
Yeah.
At the airport. We had been away from each other for 12 days and he gave me a hug and both of us were like,
her back popped and I was like, did I just break you? Like,
I think you did. So I've never questioned your love, but I've thought if I was attractive, you would want sex more often.
Yeah.
That's what I've thought. I have never thought if you loved me, you would want sex more often.
Here is another thing that kind of shows that you have these expectations that could turn to resentment. You should initiate more. Mm. And so you have men and women sometimes who think that or who say that because when it comes down to it, all of us really want to be desired by the person that we love.
Yes,
we do. I do not want to be the only one who initiates sex. Because if it feels like you're the only one who wants it, then that just doesn't feel good. It starts to feel kind of icky, like I'm just using you physically.
Right, yeah.
What about this? You should be more romantic.
Right, a lot of people feel that way. Have you ever felt that about me?
Yes.
I've never felt that about Thomas. Thomas is so romantic. He's such a good guy, and he's really... does it come naturally for you? Like, do you really have to put much thought or effort, or just like you naturally do these things? 'Cause you're so romantic.
I think it's a little more natural. Like I put thought and intention into it, but I love you, and so I'm more. I think in certain ways, some of you will find this funny. Certain ways, I am a more emotional person than Lysandra. Like definitely more like melancholy and all that kind of stuff.
Right, but I'm very practical.
Yeah.
Business.
Yes, which comes into play in our physical relationship as well. So, but the reality is expectations that remain unspoken can become sources of conflict. Mm-hmm. Right. Healthy communication reduces misunderstanding. It's one of the reasons why over and over again on the podcast, we talk about the fact that communication is king. Yeah. Like if you can just learn to communicate clearly and healthily on anything, you will erase most of the problems that you have in your relationship.
Right. And this is another thing that I wish I would have known is that comparison is going to create dissatisfaction. Because I definitely compared us to other couples or like, nobody like just comes up to you and is like, man, our sex life is amazing. We do this, this, and this. Like that doesn't happen in our culture, at least not our culture, the people that we're around. But some people might, like even in a casual conversation, like I'm having coffee with another woman and they might be like, I'm just like so tired of having sex. Like, it's like all the time. And that I get that in my head and I'm like, we don't have sex all the time.
He won't leave me alone.
And I'm like, Thomas does leave me alone. Thomas is not desperate for sex with me. I'm ugly. I'm fat. He's cheating on me. He's addicted to porn. And that's where my mind goes real quick.
Oh, she goes from like 0 to 1,000 in an instant.
Real fast. So
I have gotten in so much trouble on multiple occasions for something like Dream Thomas did.
Yeah. Well, stop doing it in my dreams.
She wakes up angry and upset, and I'm like, "What happened?" Like we went to sleep, and everything was fine, and then we wake up and like you're ticked, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it happens. But people compare themselves to other friends, people on social media, acquaintances, books. You might be comparing yourself to a podcast you listen to.
Yeah.
And so you may right now, this is kind of funny to think about.
Yeah.
But you may right now be comparing your marriage to our marriage.
And you're thinking, man, our marriage is great compared to those two. What? Like you listen to the podcast to feel good about yourself. You're welcome.
That is definitely a strong possibility. But there may be people out there who are comparing themselves to us and feeling dissatisfied.
Yeah.
It's hard to say without a straight face. Listen, it ain't great. It's got problems. All right. Everybody has problems. But I think of that King of Queens episode where they're like, they wish that they could be that other couple.
Yes.
And they pretend to be that other couple.
It's like great to be them.
Yeah. And then the other couple is like
fighting and
gross
all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
for those of you who don't know, King of Queens is a sitcom from the 1900s.
Yes, it is. So comparing yourself, comparing your marriage, comparing your sex life to other people's, or to pornography, which we already talked about. That's definitely going to create dissatisfaction. I wish I would have understood that better before we got married.
Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about some practical ways to reduce sexual disappointment.
This is my favorite part of every episode whenever we talk about practical things. Because, I want something that I can, put into practice. I want, don't just tell me I have a problem. Give me something to do. What can I do?
Yeah.
So this is my favorite
She's
part.
always trying to do something. It's get to the point.
Get to the point. Fix it.
So... Number one thing, and you won't be shocked, it's communication. Talking openly about expectations and really being vulnerable and free with your spouse about, hey, this is what I expect. This is an expectation I have. And then you can talk with each other about, is that a reasonable expectation? Is it unreasonable? But communicating those with your spouse will go a long way to fight the resentment.
For sure. All right. And then another thing you can do, focus on connection rather than performance. All right. So sex is not about who's amazing in bed or whatever. It's about
this
connecting.
Guy.
Yeah, you are. But it's about connecting, and make it about connecting.
Yeah.
All right. Giving grace.
It might also be a little bit about performance too.
A little bit.
So give grace during difficult seasons. Grace is good things that we absolutely do not deserve. And it's something that all of us want. We want people to be gracious with us. I want my wife to be gracious with me. I'm not always a great person. Sometimes not even a good person. I want grace in those moments. We all fail. We are human. We make mistakes. We have issues. We have problems. And so the same is true of your spouse. Just give them the same grace that you want in those difficult seasons.
Yes. And I wish I would have done better at this at the beginning. All right. And then be curious about your spouse's needs and experiences. Don't be afraid to ask questions. In a minute here, we're going to give you some questions that you can actually ask between you and your spouse. But be curious about their needs. Pay attention, tune in, try to, we're not trying to hint to one another.
No.
But if I can pick up on something that I'm seeing in Thomas or the vibe I'm getting from him, I want to pay attention to that. I want to be curious and care and be considerate of his needs.
Well, you should become a student of your spouse.
Yes.
You want to be an expert. You should have a PhD in your spouse and know all about them. And of course, this could bring us back to 1 Corinthians 7 that we talked about before, where, hey, if it's my responsibility to make sure that my wife's physical needs are taken care of, then I need to know what those are. And so that means asking questions. It means having conversations. It means becoming vulnerable with my performance and how I do, and being okay with what my wife tells me. And so it is a great one. We ought to always remain curious. We change over time and over seasons. So what we like, what we enjoy, what we need will change over seasons as well. So never stop learning. Mm-hmm. Here's one that I think is important also. Address conflicts outside the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And so it's a lot easier to be close in the bedroom when we've taken care of issues that are outside of the bedroom. And you take care of those issues outside of the bedroom, the makeup sex is typically pretty great. But you've got to deal with those things. Otherwise, those issues will make their way into the bedroom and cause problems there.
Yeah. And then view intimacy as a lifelong journey of learning one another. And I think that's such a good idea. It's not just about now, because I've actually thought about this. If we are so much better now than we were 23 years ago, imagine what we'll be in another 20 years. What will it be like? Could it get better?
Yeah.
It could get better.
Heaven on earth.
Yeah. Sounds pretty cool.
Let's talk about these questions, though.
Questions for you to discuss. These are great things to write down for a date night, or just one of your 20-minute decompressions at the end of the night where you're going to talk.
So we do a family meeting idea at the end of every episode, and these questions are going to come into play there. So go ahead, jot them down right now.
Okay. What messages about sex did I learn growing up? What messages about sex did you learn about growing up.
That's always an interesting question when we sit down with couples is like, okay, what did you learn about the topic itself? Whether it's like from TV shows, movies, other things.
Parents, church, religious, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
What expectations did I bring into marriage? Sometimes that one, the person who will be surprised by that answer is you.
I only had one, like I said.
Yeah. What helps me feel emotionally connected?
Sex.
Not for me.
No, but for me, it is.
Right.
Like I feel very emotionally close after we've had sex.
Yeah. What expectations did I bring into marriage? I already read that one.
Yes, you did.
My bad. How do I best communicate my needs? What changes would help us grow closer? The connection between emotional intimacy and physical intimacy, where is that connection for you? How does communication impact our sexual relationship? And like, how am I doing communicating with you? How do I feel you're doing communicating with me?
So family meeting tonight, we're going to be talking about your sex life and answering those questions.
Answering the questions.
Like going through those questions.
Yeah. Now, if you do want a bonus resource, we have a bonus resource called Building a Healthy Intimate Marriage, and it's a guide that we can send to you. All you have to do is email us at info@familymeeting.org. We will shoot that over to you, and you can have maybe a deeper discussion, or even maybe you're going to do it by yourself. It doesn't have to be done as a couple. It can be an area where you grow on your own, and that will impact your marriage. So shoot us an email and we will send that over to you.
Well, because the truth is, like, great sexual intimacy isn't created by perfect chemistry.
No.
It's built through communication, understanding, grace, and intentional connection over time. And
yes,
so
it is.
Family meeting tonight, as we mentioned, you're going to be working on your physical relationship with each other. Mm-hmm. By communicating, by talking about it, by asking and answering the questions, and who knows where it'll lead? Probably the bedroom.
Probably will. Thank you for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider and share this episode on your socials.
For everything else Family Meeting, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org.
Alrighty, and we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we discuss undermining your kid's other parent. So maybe you're a co-parent,
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe you're divorced and you're working together, maybe you are married, parenting your kids together. Have you ever felt undermined by me?
I don't think so, but we had something that happened just yesterday. So my youngest daughter came to me, and we have a PlayStation 5, we have PS5, and for the first time, maybe a year or longer, she came and was like, "Can you set up the PS5? I want to play Call of Duty." I'm like, sure. So we do all the stuff. It's stupid how long it took to get it so we could play, like signing into this and signing into that, and just like, yeah, so many problems. So probably spent close to 2 hours figuring that out. And then once I finally got it to a place where we could actually play a game together, she was out in somewhere, I think she's in her room. And so I called to her and I'm like, "Violet." And so she comes out and I was like, "I've got it working. Let's play." And she's like, "I can." And Mom said I can't until I clean my room.
Yeah. I texted her earlier that morning and said, no electronics until you clean your room.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm saying you can play. You can clean your room later. So we literally...
You literally undermined me yesterday.
I literally did. Now, then later on, when you came out, I was like, "Listen, I told Violet to do this." So it's not like she's just disobeying. But she also knew, like, she's like, "What do I do?" Because I know Mom said this and Dad is saying this. Yeah. And she's almost 16, so it's not like...
Yeah.
But it was funny how this is what we're talking about when that literally just happened yesterday.
I did not plan that either.
Yeah. So
I did not plan that, but we will definitely be correcting your bad behavior next week.
I need all the help I can get. Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.